Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's pick a card, Where You're Meant to Live. This was a subscriber's request and I had already had it on my mind, okay? I did the relocation reading and I touched on astrocartography a little. So I do have some astrology cards today. I will give some more detail regarding the astrocartography, okay? So let's see where you're meant to live. Okay, we do have 4 pals today. We've got some new little key rings to help you pick your pal. Pal 1 is this bear, pal 2 is this milkshake, pal 2 is this ramyun, and pal 4 is this rabbit. Okay, so pick the pile that you're drawn to the most. If you need more time, as always, you can come back when you're ready. Okay, take time if you need to. Other than that, I'll see what you're reading. Hello pal 1, welcome to your reading, Where You're Meant to Live. You chose the bear. So let's take a look at the first card I have for you. And we have Page of Voices. So, pal 1, where you're meant to live, okay, requires particular documentation. It requires you to have travel documents. It requires you to have also visas, okay, means to be able to enter into another country. So right away, pal 1, I have strong ties, strong energy, that where you're meant to live is a different place to where you are now, so much so that it's a different country, okay? And as I say, it will require you to have particular documentation. I see that it will take a lot of planning regards to where you're meant to live, okay? It may require assistance outside of yourself, outward assistance, if we can say it like that, okay? Such as someone who knows more information about relocating to a different country. And I do have that for many of you, it will involve different languages. You may already be learning a language so that you can move to a different country. You may have already had a pull towards that, because I do get with the Page of Voices, right? This is like one of my researcher cards. This is the watcher card in other decks, right? Paying attention to detail, but kind of in the background. So you may have not even told anyone, you know, mentioned to anyone that you even have this on your mind, right? It's something that you may be thinking with the mountains on this card, that it's further afield, right? It's further ahead in the future. And you're just seeing first, you're seeing what is available to you, perhaps what criteria that you would fit, right? Because all visas and residencies have different requirements, okay? So I see you kind of shopping around, but at the same time, you have this familiar feeling that you belong somewhere else and you belong in a different country. For many of you, this connects to heritage, roots, okay? You may be drawn back to where your original, heritage, family may have also immigrated from. That does come forward, though for many it's actually completely different, and it's more so in a knowing and based on the sense of, I feel I've lived there before. Why do I feel like I know this culture? Why does this feel like I've lived a lifetime here before, right? Okay, so let's get some more cards and then we're gonna pull some astrology cards, okay? I see that some of you who picked this pile, excuse me, you already have a vision board. I'm seeing someone has saved tabs to certain links. And I see there's different homes. So you already have an idea as well of the type of home you want. And it can be that it's particularly found in the country that you're drawn to, right? Overseas. Can be the style of the homes that you love, the architecture. Ace of Emotions, yeah, it's certainly something that you love, and it's certainly something that you believe in, right? Again, that inner knowing and your intuition, you feel that this is where you're meant to be. It's not only that you you come for a reading and you hear, insight and you think, oh yeah, that resonates. It's more of a validation and more of a confirmation for you. Yeah, okay. You may actually be at a halfway point currently in your life, okay? You may have already had to move once, and this does include you've had to move to another country already, but you knew it wasn't your final stop. You knew there was something else beyond that, and there is with Muse of Materials coming out. So many of you are halfway. Some of you, you're at the beginning, okay? As I say, there's this ongoing research in the background going on that you may not have shared with anyone. And then we've got the Emperor. I'm just gonna have to grab a drink. I don't know why. My voice is doing that. Often it happens in readings, just randomly starts. So there we go. Could be some interference here. That may be why you've kept this to yourself. All right, so the Emperor. I see that where you will go, and I'm now hearing Saturn. So Saturn can somehow be significant here, astrologically speaking, and astrocartography. Okay, and also I'm seeing the house that you can have Aries in. Okay, so where you may have fire signs, yes, but Aries, as we know, the Emperor can represent Aries. Okay, and it can also be Taurus. I know we don't have the Empress out, but I'm just getting that energy as well. Okay, it's an energy of being in a place where you'll be mastering something and you'll be growing in confidence. Okay, you'll be kind of dominating your field, your career. So there is this sense of your place of where you're meant to be, pile one. It's a place that will actually be bringing you exponential growth, personal growth and career growth. Okay, even if you are still learning the language of that country, it doesn't matter, because there's alignment for you. There's this energy of success. So where you're meant to live is certainly the platform, the stage for where you will grow the most. That's what I'm getting. Okay, so it's where you will grow the most, right? Personally and career-wise. Let's get some astrology cards. I've actually picked out the houses first, so I want to see, okay, what house you'll be exploring more, right? With where you're meant to be, where you're meant to live. So the 10th house. What did I just say? 10th house represents your public image, professional aspirations, and career and achievements. Yes. And look, this is why some of you can be learning that second language, third, fourth, and you'll pick up the language when you get there. So even if you're sat watching this video thinking, I don't speak languages, that's not a forte, that's not a strength of mine or a skill, it's going to be. You're going to shock yourself, because you'll be in a place, okay, that will be aligned. And when you're aligned, and it's not to say that you're not now, okay, because you're on the right path, but what I mean is that it will actually be that platform, that stage where you will actually reach your highest potential. And you're being backed up, right, astrologically speaking, let's say, the universe, okay, because you're where you're meant to be. And it's according to your destiny. So again, the 10th house represents your public image, professional aspirations, and career and achievements. Yes. So despite perhaps having a language barrier initially, you're still going to be able to flourish, you see, because it's for you. And I see that for some of you, you will be catapulted into the public eye. You will be catapulted into some kind of stardom. Some of you are going to have stardom here. And also, there is indication of having strong partnerships and networking. So for some of you, this can even be as far as, you know, being known and being on TV. Okay? And in other cases, this is about you having a successful business, successful projects, even successful studies, okay? And having your papers, your studies recognized, okay? Right, I'm gonna get an oracle card. Okay, I'm hearing that for many of you, where is this? Where is this? And I see that it's the opposite to where you are now. So either you're going from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, you're going from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, or you're going, for example, from, you know, the west to the east to the west. There's extremes with it, is what I'm picking up. Okay, regards to distance, it's very contrasting. Community, yeah. where you're meant to live, pile 1, is quite a luxurious place also, I have to say. It is a place that can be coined the land of opportunity. So of course that can be many countries, but there's something about the place that you're meant to live and it being known for that, it being known for the land of opportunities, and it being known to attract people, okay, who are aspiring to certain things, right? Certain achievements. There's a certain standard of living is what I'm seeing, okay? And community is key. So I see that where you may have been somewhat in hermit mode, or you may consider yourself a lone wolf or a lone wolfstress or something like that, you're actually going to be also catapulted into a community which will align with you also. And this represents that networking and being seen, okay? People are going to want to know about you and know who you are. Again, there is this indication of being known on that certain level, right? Like celebrity level, or being known for your skill set. And also for some of you here, you're just going to be spotted. You're going to be noticed due to how you look, okay? How you look, which is a reflection of your energy, right? Because you're going to be in a place that is, to a degree, igniting, right? Igniting that part of your astrology, a part of your house, this 10th house, a part of your chart and your destiny, okay? So it will kind of happen naturally as well. It's not that you'll have to do consistent action steps to make yourself glow. It's that it will already be happening as a byproduct, okay? Because of where you are, and because of what is for you. Now, I'm going to get a couple of tea leaf cards, because we just want to get, you know, a couple of different aspects and insights in regards to where you're meant to live. Okay, the tea leaf cards can give us just little details, little snapshots. Okay, so what else here for pile 1 and where they're meant to live? Flowers, happiness. Okay, so you're meant to live in a place that makes you happiness and brings you happiness. And there is a little bird on there. Okay, I am hearing tropical, so some of you are going to be, and where you're meant to live, right? Because I do see also for many of you that this will occur, and I will clarify that as well, because we're looking at where you're meant to live, but we'll clarify if it's following through, right? So I'm seeing that tropical energy is coming forward, right? Tropical birds, tropical flowers, and also the place that you're meant to live is known for a particular flower, so there's going to be something unique about that, okay? A national flower, for example, or a flower that's very famous. It can be rare, and also this is about you. You have a rareness about you. People may have referred to you as a rare beauty, not taking gender into account, right? You can also be you know, I don't know what the opposite would be for the opposite gender, but let's say a rare kind of handsomeness, right? But yeah, a rare beauty and a gem, okay? People refer to you as a gem, and where you're meant to live, that will actually just be amplified, okay? Again, this sense of people being drawn to you and your aura and your energy, all right? Yes, it kind of looks like a parrot. It's got this long tail, so also countries where parrots are native, I see that that is where some of you are meant to live. Okay, so let's see what else. Caterpillar. Things will not always be this way. A change is coming. How beautiful. Yes, we see that with Muse of voices. A change is coming. And look at that. So you can be in the caterpillar stage as you click on this reading, right? In the cocoon, doing your research, keeping things to yourself, moving in silence, so to speak, right? And getting ready to bloom. And where you're meant to live is where you will reach that full bloom. And it's interesting because the Emperor in this deck, she's almost like a butterfly. The way she holds her hands up, you know, and holds them out, she looks like a butterfly, okay? So I'm seeing that that will be a place of transformation for you, okay, where you're meant to live. And ultimately, okay, the 10th house is having a big role to play in that. So yes, things will not be staying the same for you, pile 1, okay? Let's get a card from the other half of the deck, and then we'll clarify if this move is more than just meant to be you'll actually achieve it. So let's see. Time card. Celebration, fun, enjoyment. Yes. Yep. Invitations, being sociable, going out. Okay. And again, I do have this kind of high-end luxury energy. Okay. You know, luxury brands and this kind of thing. Now, of course, that's not to say that that means that's all it's about, but it's very clear to me that where you're meant to live, Pal 1, there is material wealth. Okay. Abundance that is going to be reflecting in your material wealth and having access to that. So even if you're not the kind of person who is even drawn to brands or luxury, you know, to the degree that we typically think, right? Let me just put it that way. Your luxury could be something completely different. So take it as it resonates. But still, even to have the luxury how you want it, that's still going to have the earthly price, right? You need money. Even if it's a house you want to build in a forest. For some, that's not a luxury, but that's still going to cost you money, right? And to have it the way you like and to get electricity lines and all of that going if you build a house from scratch in the forest or in the countryside. So it's this kind of energy. But ultimately, it's a place where you would live a completely different life. Okay, celebration, fun, enjoyment. Surrounded by beauty also, okay, when it comes to the aesthetics, the environment. And I do have, for many of you, it's a place, I touched on tropical energy. I do have, it's more of a warm climate, okay, many of you having access to the beach, okay, the water, sunny skies, sunny days a lot of the time, okay, that's the energy that I have. And certainly we do have mountains there. It can be both mountains and beach, but ultimately I'm having a warmer climate come forward for many of you. Right, so let's get confirmation if this will actually be occurring. This is something that is going to get off the ground. And also ascendant. So ascendant is significant, okay, that can connect to your chart, your astrocartography. So ascendant line, yes, Muse of emotions. You will do it. You will. You will go and live where you're meant to live. So yeah, I have the rest of these astrology cards, so let's see a little bit on the astrocartography now. I had Saturn and I'm hearing ascendant, so let's see. Yes, sun line can be significant here. Okay, I've not used these cards before, so not in a pick card, so let's see. It has different details with regards to astrology. So let's see, just, okay. Birth charts. You probably know your sun sign, but this is not your only sign and is therefore only one part of your personality. It's giving us information about what the cards are, but I'm still going to take it because I see that your sun sign, okay, is significant. There's something about you living where your sun sign can flourish more. If I'm correct, this is a sun line in the astrology, astrocartography. So take a look at your sun sign. That's some indication for you, your sun sign and Saturn and ascendant. And it can also be to do with your rising sign being significant, okay? Birth charts are maps that show the exact placement of the sun, moon and planets where you were born. So also Pal 1, perhaps it's worth revisiting your birth chart. That's why this card came out as well. And check out your 10th house, okay? What sign is in your 10th house? Let's get another one. First house planets. You have, it says here, you hate rules, boundaries, and refuse to be held back. You come across as very mature and responsible. You can have a pessimistic outlook on life and your self-image. You are even-tempered, direct and clear. You like to follow standard protocol when meeting new people. You can ramble and change topics frequently throughout a conversation, which makes it difficult for others to follow. You are careful when interacting with new people. You also maintain intense eye contact with meeting people. Oh, okay. So this is just giving us information about first house planets. And for some of you, this can have been some things you've worked through, okay? With that caterpillar energy and transformation. So this can be, you know, shadow work. This could be like life lessons. And certainly, you know, you hate rules and boundaries and refuse to be held back. I mean, that's very clear here. There is ambitious energy. And, you know, we know the Emperor to be domineering. So certainly there is this aspect, okay, that by the time you get to where you're meant to live, you will have actually done a lot of like deep transformation, deep alchemy. And it makes sense, because to get to this level, that's what's required. We got to work through our stuff, right? So that's interesting. As I say, it's the first time I've brought these into the readings. So, you know, I'm also getting to know the deck, and I'm just using them intuitively here, okay? All right, thank you very much, Pal One. That was your reading. I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye for now. Hello Pal 2, welcome to your reading Where You're Meant to Live. You chose the milkshake. Let's take a look at the first card I have for you. Okay, and I got the deck up, right? Yeah, I have. Okay, Ace of Materials. Okay, so where you're meant to live is a place that you will settle and you will make roots for a long, long time, okay? And I also see that where you're meant to live is going to be financially successful and abundant for you, as well as, though we have Ace of Materials, Ace of Pentacles, there's something to do with a miraculous energy. There's something to do with healing, okay? And I see that the place that you're meant to live is known for its healing, it's known for its miracles, and it's known to be quite a spiritual place, okay? Spiritual country. Now, for some of you, I just heard actually moving across country. So for some of you, this is moving across where you are already, though I see that for many of you who've been drawn to this reading, it's a big country, right? It can be a continent also, but you don't have to cross water. You can travel like at lengths. That's what I'm seeing. So you can be staying in the same country. It's just you're going to go to the other side of it possibly here, right? Okay? Take it as it resonates. So my throat has been acting up since the first reading, and here we go again. But we will continue, right? So let's see what else here. Yeah, there's something about a fresh start and where you're meant to live. And actually, I see that the place where you're meant to live is a place that, okay, firstly, some of you have visited, some of you know it and you're familiar with it. It's not unknown to you. For others, it will be completely new, but you've heard of it, okay? It's known to you. And you're not gonna realize just how beautiful it can be if you were to live there. And what I mean is that just how many things would unfold for you, and also I hear how much faster you would manifest things and your abilities and what you desire, okay? Because it's a place of alignment for you. Interesting. For some of you, the place I'm being drawn to, there is a very powerful waterfall. There is a very powerful waterfall. Six of Voices, yeah. There can be a canyon, a huge canyon, is correct, yeah, or valley, and water, right? Look at that. I've got Six of Voices. Okay, so as I say, I see this can be going across a continent and a country, but yet you don't necessarily have to go on water. You can still drive, like you could drive past a gorge, right? You can drive past a huge river. And it can be that the place you are currently, the place you will, well, where you're meant to live, right? We're going to check if you will actually, that will occur, and you will do that. But where you're meant to live, okay, you can, there's a huge river, there's a huge like lake, but it goes for miles and miles and miles and miles. So certainly here with Six of Voices, that confirms that some of you have traveled to this place, you've visited it. And also, this is like one of my guide cards, okay? When I see the woman, the huge woman, and then the woman is on the tip of the finger, right? I see this as being guidance and being protected and being guided to change, being guided to move forward. Some of you, you may wear rings like the woman on the card. You may have a similar style to this. You may enjoy wearing color black or just like contrasting colors, you know. And the black represents protection. So there's something about you also being more protected, and it can be that the place I'm picking up on for many of you, it's protected land, right? It's a special type of land. This could be holy, this could be also, you know, indigenous. And look, I'm not saying that you're gonna live on land that is not within jurisdiction or something like that. No, to be clear, I'm just getting at this specialness of this place, this area, okay? For some of you it can be, okay? I'm not gonna put a judgment on it. I'm just getting what I see, right? But I just know there's something sacred. Perhaps sacred is the best way for me to put that across, right? So there's sacred land and there's something sacred about the place that I see you, where you're meant to live, okay? Eight of Voices. Yes, so I see that where you're meant to live, pile 2, okay, there will be a sense of breaking free. There's this sense of also wildness, right? Wild living, wilderness, and living with nature, being at one, and having this great sense of freedom, like breaking ties, breaking societal ties and norms. Some of you, I see that where you're meant to live, this can be also you building from scratch your own home, but also a home that's very unique in where you're meant to live, using the local materials, using you know, different innovative ways that serve nature and the environment. So you may be very environment conscious, you know, you're conscious living. This matters to you, and to contribute to the world and the universe that way. Nine of Cups, Nine of Emotions, yeah. Where you're meant to live is your dream. It's your dream. And I see that for some of you, okay, you wish to be by water. You wish to be closer to water, okay? Whether it be a river, a waterfall, a lake, and I do have it's more so that, though the ocean is on here, it certainly can be that for some of you, though the stronger energy, as I'm saying, it's this waterfall energy, even having a little crook, you know, a creek by where you will live, where you're meant to live, and your home being near that, okay? For some of you, yes, it's not only about building from scratch. Some of you, it's also about renovation, okay? But I just see that it's somewhere that is really filled with nature and peace, and there's flow and the energy, like, how can I say, a lot of chi. It's a lot of chi, like positive ions. Okay. Let's see. So we're also going to be looking at astrocartography. For some of you, it will be your Venus line. It's close to the Venus line. That's what I'm hearing, but it can cross with another line. So, you know, those of you that aren't familiar with astrocartography, I am going to put a link actually in the description so you can go and type in your details and get your own chart, okay? But Venus is like about Yes, it's about love, right? That's the first, you know, thing that it's about. We know Venus is the planet of love. But here for you, it's not just about, you know, the love, the romantic love and that kind of thing. It's with Nine of Emotions coming out, it's more to do with like self-love as well, and you really falling in love with yourself and your life. So let's get you an oracle card. Angel of Strength, yeah. I see that it will strengthen your root chakra, where you're meant to live, pile 2. Also, Leo energy can be significant here. And it can be something to do with your house. Your 6th or 9th house is in Leo. For some of you, okay? But Angel of Strength, again, protected and being guided here. Following your inner guidance. And Nine of Emotions is also telling me your intuition is so spot on, so accurate. It's so strong, actually. And that's why perhaps you do already have a pull, right? With the 6 of Voices being there. Your guides have been communicating, like move forward, move, relocate, because you're very sensitive. And it charges you to be around nature, in nature, close to water. You may also have connection to, you know, water spirits, right? This may be a part of your belief system, a heritage. There's something about water, and you're very powerful when it comes to water, which is why you need to be near it as well. Right, let's get a astrology card for the house. And this is now moving more into the astrocartography, so let's see what wants to come out. 8th house, sex, death and transformation. The 8th house is where we encounter many of the darker aspects of life. We can experience loss, emotional crisis and deep transformation. Wow. Yeah, I feel like that's what you're leaving. I feel you're leaving. You've been in the 8th house, wherever you are located now. Yeah, because you've got 8 swords, 8 voices. Yeah. And there's a butterfly. There's a butterfly in the middle of that house. There's something about you and where you're meant to live, pile 2. And going solo. There's something about you being solo, and I'm not saying that it means, oh, romantically and stuff like that. I'm not really reading on that in this reading, you know. I'll touch on things, of course, if it comes up, but I'm not going into depth about it, because it's more so the focus of you and where you're meant to live. And I see that there's something about you having a particular strength and doing it alone, and where you're meant to live, but actually you won't feel alone, you won't be alone, right? So yeah, I'm gonna get one more from this pile. So let's see about where you're meant to live and the house. Yeah, that's why your spirit team, your spirit guide, whoever you believe in, who you work with, they're like, you're done. You've got the lessons, you've worked through this, you've transformed. But you know, the woman on the fingers, she's just looking down like, maybe. don't know about that. Seventh house, relationships. Okay, here we go. 7th house represents one-to-one relationships, including marriages, romantic partners, business partners, and even enemies. So look, you know, part 2, you may have the intention as well to go solo. I'm solo now. I just live my life. I've gone through transformations, all of that, learned lessons, done shadow work, healed. I want to enjoy life for me, right? 9 of Emotions. And then I see here, there's exploration. astrocartography of the 7th house and relationships. So of course, again, it doesn't have to just be solely the romantic energy, but it is there and it's on this card, right? However, for some of you, this is about business, right? This is about you building something again, right? Ace of Materials, Ace of Pentacles, building something from scratch. And this can also be indicative of starting a completely new career path, a completely new way that you make your money, right? You may be doing a new training, qualification, but there's certainly transformation after ending with the 8th house and working through that with where you're meant to live, right? So let's get some tea leaf fortune cards and, you know, just get some little details, see what the fortune cards would like to say about where you're meant to live. Claw. Be careful, do not take risks. Okay, interesting energy. I feel like Seahawk, yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like someone, that's coming from someone. And then look what came out. Seahorse, family matters. Someone is too much in your business. And it's like they want you to stay stuck. They want you to stay in 8 of voices. They want you to stay in this 8 house energy. Let's see, what else? Let's clarify if we can on that. Well, family wishes come true. Okay, so part 2, you may have been waiting here, right? You may have been waiting for something to settle and smooth out. Perhaps, yes, a particular family member, this can be more than one, this could even be children, right? Where you have children, you've wanted them to get to a certain age before you would think, right, I'm now going to go and live my life, right? They're settled, they're happy. Okay, but something is hanging on. Something has an attachment that doesn't necessarily serve you, right? And look, it can be a specific person. It can also be like that attachment, emotional, right? Or mental or physical, energetic, spiritual. There's something still to be processed, right? But you're very much so at the end of it. You're close to transforming that. And there's alchemy here. So with family wishes coming true, you're going to get your wish regards to family matters, which can be that kind of, yeah, okay, things are settled now. Things are settled. And what may have felt like a risk, right? Be careful, do not take risks. It's not going to feel that way. And also, when it does come to a specific person, kind of, you know, they got their claw, they're trying to get their claw, so to speak, right, to hold you there. That is not going to remain that way. Okay, so I see that there is a working out, as I say, an alchemy of that, alchemizing of what seems to be holding you back in that regard, because there's a sense of responsibility. Right. Okay, and you know, it doesn't have to just be a negative aspect. It could be you've looked after someone, right? There's been a family member who needed you, you've looked after them. And perhaps that made you think and feel, oh, I shouldn't take too many risks. You know, what if something happens and I'm away? You know, it's this kind of energy, just like that anxiety, right? 8 of voices, and having that lack of peace, which it's not easy, you know. Give yourself grace regards to that. So we have Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Absolutely, absolutely. Like, this is just what is coming up for you, part 2. You're very powerful. Some of you may have ties to shamanism. You may have shamanic roots. Okay, this is also heritage culture. More so heritage. But also you are a beacon. You are a beacon of light. You are a healer. You may already do this. It's your practice. You may already be doing healing. Okay, when it comes to where you're meant to live, that is what you'll be drawn towards, where you're not doing that currently. There's something about letting your torch, your inner torch, shine and come out, showing who you really are to a degree, right? But certainly it's spiritually connected. It's spirituality is going to be a part of where you're meant to live. That's what I'm seeing be of importance to you. Okay, let's see. Actually, yeah, okay, let's go. Okay, handshake. A meeting with a stranger could be important. Yes. So you'll meet new people. You'll meet new people and have new experiences. New experiences and people from different parts of the world. The globe is on here. So also interestingly, the place that I see where you're meant to live, it can also somehow still be, you know, cosmopolitan. It can be still, you know, international. Like, this can be a matter of where there's a town in a city that's still, you know, within a 10-minute drive. You're in the countryside, you're by the river, you're by the waterfall. Like, it has it all, but I just see you living more in the quieter, peaceful side of things, but somehow you will still make those connections. You won't be cut off from society, so to speak. It's just when you want to go into your personal little shell, right? Your personal little abode, okay? That's what I have for you, pal, too. Beautiful reading. I hope you enjoyed that today. And I will see you very soon for another one. Oh, actually, I need to confirm something for you. If this is what's occurring. So let's get confirmation. So we're not done. Let's see the energy of that. This is where you're meant to live, and will this actually be occurring? Let's see. Six of Emotions. Let me read a little further. Okay, yes. Yes. Because as well, pile 2, it's you leaving the past behind. It's you leaving the past behind. And that fresh new start energy. And so that your sun line can be significant here also. I touched on Venus, right? And that's 7th house, it connects as well. But your sun line, perhaps they cross for some of you on the chart. Okay, so that is the end of your reading. Thank you very much, part 2. I'll see you soon for another one, okay? Bye for now. Hello, pal 3. Welcome to your reading, where you're meant to live. You chose the ramen noodles. Right. Let's see the first card I have for you. And we have 3 of Inspiration. Okay. So you are meant to live in a different place to where you are now. Okay. There's relocation energy here and travel. And what I also see is that you're meant to travel. And why this is important, connecting to where you're meant to live, is because I'm seeing you, okay, end up in a place that you will travel to unexpectedly in some instances, and you're going to love it. And at the same time, it's also a place where you're meant to live, okay? I hear sandy beaches. For some of you, there's locations with sandy beaches, but I mean like sandy white sand. Even it looks like you're walking on gold. So wherever that is in the world, I'm certain it exists, but it's particular. As I say, it almost looks like the sand is golden. All right, so I'm hearing the equator. So for some of you, the places I see you where you're meant to live is close to the equator. All right, let's get a couple more cards. And there's also something about you really loving the food. You do have the ramen bowl. That can have a connection. It can be a country that has this kind of food, but of course it's not for everyone. But it's just this sense of the food being really delicious to you. You really love it. You just can't get enough of it. You may like to cook dishes yourself. You may already be cooking dishes from this particular part of the world, and you go to local restaurants that do this type of food. I am being drawn to, yes, Asia, okay, the Far East, Central Asia. Parts of Africa and also Central America. Okay, but for some reason I'm also seeing Scandinavia. Okay. Maybe this is just you're traveling to these different continents. Right, let's see, because I did have that. Yeah. You're going to more than one place. 8 of materials. There's significance here regarding 8 months. Okay, so for some of you, when you click on this video, the travel can be occurring by 8 months time. You're traveling for 8 months before you would come across this place you'll absolutely love, and it's where you're meant to live. Okay. 5 of voices. 9 of voices. There's something here that is going to be very healing for you, pile 3, okay, and the travel is connecting to that. I see that there's something about travel and for you changing your mindset. 5 of voices, this is a card that indicates some betrayal. This is one of my gossip cards as well. There's something here that you are breaking away from. So aside from looking at where you're meant to live, this is also coming out about this travel, because it connects to where you're meant to live, and it's a part of your healing journey as well, and also a sense of freedom, okay, and financial freedom. So here I'm seeing success regards to your personal wealth, your financial wealth, having the means. I see that some of you here can very much so work with, you know, divine feminine, like very powerful divine feminine energy and goddesses. You know, when I look at 8 of materials, and she has all these arms, so it's, you know, I just have this strong energy of you being guided to kind of be this, you are this, but also you're being guided to like kind of live this authentic, really true to who you are life and living, and travel connects to that. And also this represents, I see here, that you are multifaceted, multi-talented. This can be you speaking multiple languages. And there's something here about when you stand still and stay still for too long, this doesn't work for you. There's something about like, no, I have itchy feet. You thrive when you travel. You thrive in change, because change for you represents like that alchemy, and it represents new pathways. You're a person who's open. And I see here there can have been a situation where you tried to perhaps think, oh, I'll stay here and I'll just take trips places, I'll just visit places, but I won't necessarily relocate or move, and something just is going to switch for you, because you, as I say, you're coming across this place that you will love and you will want to stay. And I see it's also a part of where you're meant to live. So let's get an oracle card. Yeah, let's get an oracle card now, and then I want to see about the astrocartography a bit, see what information comes up about that. Yeah, you can have already spent some time close to your Pluto line on your astrocartography. You know, you've worked through some lessons, you've worked through some shadow work even here. But it's interesting because for you, pile 3, I see that for you, you kind of like shift things quickly. Whether it's your ability to detach, this could be to do with your zodiac, your astrology chart. Also, you have something about you where you can kind of process things, you work through them, and then you're like, okay, it's like quick. It's like 3 of inspiration, you know, what's next? You like to make the most of your time in your life. Like, and it's not to say others that don't, right? Everyone is different, but I'm just looking at the energy I'm seeing here. And it's not a right or a wrong, it's just different ways. But I just see that about your energy is like, okay, that happened, let me process this, let me do this, and now what's next for me? You believe in yourself. Yeah, look, magician in the mirror, you are a very powerful magician. Exactly. You turn stone into gold. You know, this is you. You may work with crystals, crystal energy, mirror work here, working with mirrors, also a seer, a very powerful one at that. Yeah. Oh yes, and people want to find you, like they want to see where you are, they want to know what you're doing, they're like, where are you now, what's happening? But you're very much so, you know, if you weren't there during the tough times, or you were part of these betrayals and trauma, that's what I want to say, and gossip, then what are you doing? For some of you, this can be romantic. I've got man holding the heart on the bottom of the deck. Yep, you don't hang on to past lovers here, but they hang on to you. Oh yeah, even they would follow you around the world, some of them. Okay, I want to shuffle a bit more. So we're going to see some houses here with these astrology cards. Houses that are significant to where you're meant to live. It may also show us about currently, though I'm focusing the energy to show us where you're meant to live. So let's see what's to come out. Ninth house. Ninth house represents your sense of what lies beyond the horizon. It invites us to travel physically and mentally through higher education, philosophy and religion. Boom, there we go. And look, you got 9 of voices. See? So that's like what can happen, and then that's your remedy. So that's like the element for you, and then this is your remedy. Quest and adventure, your 9th house. So that's confirmation of this travel I see you taking, and you being open to what is beyond, right? What is beyond where you are currently, where you have been, and you're like, let's go. The plane is on there. Look at that. Okay, so wonderful. And then I'm going to just take a card from the rest of the astrology deck. This just has different information on and different zodiacs and all things about astrology. So I just want to see what wants to come out to give us a bit more insight about the astrocartography side of things. Okay. Aquarius. So some of you may have strong Aquarius placements, sun, moon, rising. But also you may be Aquarius in your 9th house. Aquarius are independent, sociable, outgoing, self-reliant and eccentric. They enjoy inventing new stuff, socializing and sports. Negative traits, pessimistic, rebellious and impatient. Okay, I'm gonna get one more. And those of you that you don't resonate with Aquarius, it's the embodiment of these traits as well, okay? So keep that in mind. This can be archetypal as well. And also the energy you'll be stepping into, right, regards to where you're meant to live. This is the type of way you'll be moving. Okay. Fourth house planets. You aim to have a bustling home with children, animals and relatives visiting. Your childhood may not have been easy, so you take family life seriously and feel responsibility as a provider and a caretaker. You may prefer to rent rather than to buy, so you can change locations. You are likely an only child. You are compassionate about your family and are willing to sacrifice anything for them. You see your home as your power base and enjoy the possibilities of house renovation. So this is just giving us extra details. Not everything will resonate for everyone. As I've shared in the other piles, I'm getting to know these cards as well, and they just give different perspectives, insights, etc. Okay, though clearly there are some parts here that resonate and connect to this reading, right? Particularly about changing locations, renting versus buying. I do see that applies, okay? And 4 is that stability, right? 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands. So you are going to have your own home, okay? You will settle. It's just there's going to be a lot of adventures in between that, and you'll still have adventures, but you will at some point have your own home. And I do see that's where you're meant to live, okay? And like you'll have that route, a home you'll consistently go back to after travels, okay? Oh yeah, let's see some tea leaf cards for some extra details, just to see. They can always be interesting with what they have to share with us, the tea leaf cards. So let's take a look here. Oh yes, and 8 of Materials. I have to say, many of you, this could be like where you're meant to live. You'll also make your money online. You'll be like a digital nomad. You'll have multiple businesses, but they'll be online. Okay, Dagger. Fear, worries, intense situations. Yeah. There is a sense of wanting to escape. Forest, muddled, unclear thinking. Yeah, perhaps you don't know about your next move currently, pile 3. You may feel energetically blocked currently with 9 of Voices and 5 of Voices. So the thing is here, do your cleansing. All right, do your cleansing. And yeah, you know the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. So I have to say, there is an energy that's around you that they don't have the intentions that you may think. They're not being themselves, with 5 of Voices being there. That gossip energy, betrayal energy can be current. It's not just something that's happened before. Yes, of course it can happen before, but what I mean is that it's around you currently with these cards coming out, and it's blocking your intuition to a degree, right? Though it's not gonna stop you do anything. It's not detrimental. But for some reason it's being brought to your awareness, so take it as it resonates. Tree. Affairs with your family. Well, you know, you had the 4th house coming out, being significant. So here, for some of you, it can be important that when you do live where you're meant to live, that you still can have family easily access where you are. And that's why it's also going to fit well. You're going to think, wow, this is ideal. It could be halfway between, right? Halfway between one family member, another family member. There's something about that working for you, okay? And yes, so there's the family tree. Family matters. Affairs with family, and that coming up for you. So certainly that matters. And it could be, you know, also like important friends, right? It can be things like that. And some of you who are also traveling and relocating with animals, you want to make sure that they're comfortable and they have a home that is good for them as well. And also I see that where you're meant to live, you will have, some of you, more than one pet. Let's see. Oh, actually I wanted to take, okay, 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. So you will have a blessed relocation and a blessed travel, also a blessed home. And again, this sense of, you know, striking lucky. The place you will, where you're meant to live, is a place you will actually really love, and it will just be convenient in so many ways, especially when it comes to family. I wanted to get one from this side of the deck as well, so you got a bit of extra cards there. Let me just see. Rabbit. Too much concern with sexual matters. Oh, okay, so pile 3. For some of you, this is about you haven't had family yet. So you're thinking, how can I do the travel? How can I relocate? Like, what's happening? Will I meet someone along this way? This could be also for some of you concerning. Okay, that's what I'm getting from that. All right. But we have the tree and affairs with family. So I'm seeing, you know, in the 4th house. And this is also with the good and great fortune. There's something here where it's working out for you. So try not to let that take over. Easier said than done, right? I know. But ultimately that's what I have, okay? So it's not like literally I'm getting sexual matters. Actually, I get fertility matters, okay? But I gotta put my little disclaimer, you know, not reading on health, but I'll say in terms of the energy, there's energy of fertility matters rather than it's about sexual matters here. That's what I'm getting. Okay, on the other hand here, I do have that some of you, you'll be getting a pet rabbit. You're going to have rabbits. Rabbits will be where you are, where you're meant to live. Especially like big rabbits, for some reason. And rabbits also represent success, okay? Success, you know, reproducing fast, quickly, so quick. You know, having abundance, a lot of it. Okay, and so the final thing, are you going to actually do this? Okay, will this occur for you? Like, what's the stronger energy on that? Yes, this is where you're meant to live. And we have Muse materials. Yes, yes you are. Yes you are. There will be a link in the description box so you can go and fill out your details to do your astrology chart. Your astrocartography rather. Get yourself some more details. Yeah, 5 of materials. You're unlocking wealth with where you're meant to live. You're unlocking wealth. And also breaking generational curses. Ace of material. Miracle energy. Yep. Okay, pile 3, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I'll see you very soon for another one, okay? Bye for now. Okay, hello pile 4, welcome to your reading, where you're meant to live. Okay, so let's take a look at your first card. You chose the rabbit. Okay, so we have the priestess. So I'm seeing where you're meant to live, pile 4, is a place that is very much so aligned with your gifts, particularly your spiritual gifts. Okay, so I do see that where you're meant to live is a place that is known for its spiritual powers, spiritual lands, sacred lands. Okay, there is very much so an energy here of you being in a place that very much so expands what you already have when it comes to your gifts. Okay, there will be a heightened an increase in your powers and gifts. Okay, I do have that many of you are a seer, you're a reader, you live a very spiritual life. Okay, and for some very much so undercover to a degree. People may not know to what extent of the powers you do have. Okay, and certainly working with the energy of the moon, very strong intuition. Yeah, Page of Emotions. So I see that where you're meant to live is a place that actually you kind of felt it from childhood. You felt from childhood you belonged somewhere else. There's places that you have seen before you've been there. It's kind of been through dreams. Okay. Let's see. Also, I see the place that you're meant to live is very magical. And you will create a lot of personal wealth and personal success here. 9 of materials, and also it will be an energy of you creating a very beautiful life, like externally, like the aesthetics around you. I'm seeing like the physical, right, the material world, and actually, it's kind of like you'll be transitioning from perhaps being more in the spirit realm, right? Like kind of being more in the mental mind as well for some of you, and then kind of being more grounded. So wherever this place is that you're meant to be, it's kind of going to ground you, and also you're going to start creating, as I say, more material wealth in the physical reality, and being more focused on material things, material living, right? Not just about the wealth, but ultimately there's something here about you being more settled, okay, and being able to live like daily life. There's something to do with that. And also being known for something different, okay? And what I mean is that yes, you may already be known as a seer, as someone who can read, and that you're very spiritual. And aside from that, even if it's not something that you do necessarily practice for others in that regard, it's that people know that you are philosophical, you hold ancient wisdom. People come to you for advice, right? Whether it just be friends and family, or you know, in a professional sense. I'm seeing you be known for something else here, something completely different. And yes, you're still going to have all that, but it's as though you'll be using your gifts and your intuition for something completely new. And I do have, it's creative, okay? When I see this Nine of Materials, it's something, again, that can be connected to childhood, that you've always kind of felt, oh, I'm meant to do that, just as I'm meant to be in that place, okay? For some of you, I do have that this relates to a certain level of being in the public eye. This can include fame, and also being seen for your attractiveness, okay, beauty, handsomeness, this kind of thing. And I see that where you're meant to live is really going to kind of boost your confidence, and as I say, boost your material living, your material resources. So it can be as well that this is something from childhood that you have been working on, kind of, how can I say, yes, healing, but moving away from, right? Moving away from a certain mindset that stemmed from childhood. Even though you're aware, you have this wisdom about you, this philosophical wisdom, and also seeing and knowing, but that was your journey, that's been a part of your journey, working through these childhood issues. And there's something about you just completely being, I've healed it, I've worked through that now, and you're free. So where you're meant to live is going to align with you being more free and being able to achieve certain childhood dreams, okay? And as I say, breaking away from the things that didn't serve you, okay, that did occur in childhood. So let's get some other cards. Interestingly, I do have a more cooler energy. I see that where you're meant to live is more of a cooler climate, and I see that it can be a place that I'm not sure what that line is, but I'm going north, and this can also be going very, very south, but it's colder, okay? It's colder weather, and you know, you may even have to wear like a scarf around your head, you know, to keep the warmth in and the cold out, like wrap it around your head. So I am being drawn to more of those climates, and also where there can be like less daylight, or there's like more daylight because of where they're particularly located. So it's quite specific, the parts of the world I'm picking up on there, okay? Scandinavia does come forward, but as does like the very south, where it can still be very cold. Okay, let's see what else here. Yeah, places that get very cold winters, it's this. But it's not necessarily winter all year round, like it's cold all year round. Ten of Emotions and Justice. Yes, so I see that where you're meant to live is also a part of your destiny, okay? And what I mean is that there is something waiting for you, with the Justice card coming out, this could be a person that you're going to meet. This could be a group of people with 10 of emotions coming out that you're going to meet. Okay, there's this sense of alignment and you being drawn and pulled to where is your justice, where your justice will manifest and show up for you. Okay, and it's strongly linked to where you're meant to live. Now, with the Justice energy and the 8 of emotions, I do have Pluto energy, okay? And I see that for some of you, you may have spent time already on your Pluto line, okay? Which is like major transformation. Yes, Justice energy here. You know, also I see that this is to do with your spiritual journey as well. There's quite a lot of interlinking energies as to why this is where you're meant to live. It's not just one thing pulling you there and drawing you there and guiding you there. There's multiple things going on. And ultimately, I'm seeing you finding your personal happiness. I see that, pal, for you make others happy and you have made a lot of others happy, right? And you've helped them heal. Page of emotions. But, you know, with it being a page, it's as though you weren't getting back. And of course, that's not just about where you are in the world. You can be in different parts of the world, right? And still, we experience that. It's just that's where that was to be, right? In that particular place. And when we change place, we change timelines, we change paradigms. We enter into new, we can even say new realm, because it's a new vibration. Different places have different vibrations, right? And that's what I see. And you know how like the spiral, but I see it as like it's a vibration, like when we can do a visual of vibration. See that? It's like the vibration is getting higher and expanding. So I see that where you're meant to live, pal, for it will be like your highest timeline, your best timeline, and also your highest vibration. And it's justice manifesting for you. Right, I'm going to get a card from the astrology. These are a couple of cards from the astrology deck I have. And this has got houses on, so I want to see what house will be showing up for you, like it will be connecting to where you're meant to live. And this is where we're touching on the astrocartography. So, okay, 6, well, I want to take 1. So, 6th house, health and well-being. The 6th house focuses on your physical and mental health, as well as personal growth. It also encourages you to reflect on your routine and prepare for the unexpected, right? That's what I was saying. Where you're meant to live is more about the daily living, right? Routine, the physical and mental, right? So coming down from the spiritual realm. So it's like switching vibrations. That's what I see. And that's the focus, the health and well-being, you know? And this is that happiness card, personal happiness, 10 of emotions. So also I see that it will help when it comes to, you know, mental issues surrounding the mind, right? I'm seeing you kind of heal those, okay? Particularly when it comes to overthinking, especially, you know, being so connected to spirit world, spirit realm, all that kind of thing. So it's actually quite key for you to be grounded. And I'm seeing that with where you're meant to live, and that's the focus. So 6th house, health and well-being, as well as encourages personal growth. And you know, it's like, I think is it Danish? Sorry, in Denmark, they have the hig, you know, like easy living, if I'm correct. It's like this. You may even have a book with that already. You know, of course, I'm still kind of, I'm making that reference there to a Scandinavian part of the world, but it doesn't just have to be there, but that's the energy. It's a particular kind of living, and it will be very nourishing for you. So that's what I see with where you're meant to live. So 6th house can be on your astrocartography, and the house connects to that, okay? Right, let's get some tea leaf fortune cards. Well, actually, no, because I want to get an oracle card first. So I actually meant to pull this before. Just give us a little bit more insight. Four, happy family. Yeah. With Page of Emotions and the energy I've been getting about childhood and childhood dream and, you know, working on releasing certain parts of childhood as well, you know, things, just healing lessons and, well, healing. And of course, yes, lessons. But there's something here about where you're meant to live and you having your happy family. Okay. And I see that for many of you who chose Pile 4, you are going to have your family in the place where you're meant to live. Some of you, yes, you will take your family there where you already have a family, but for many of you, I'm seeing that it's going to be a new life beginning, a new, complete new chapter for many of you who don't have a family yet, like your own family is what I'm getting at, okay? Now, it doesn't just have to be children, this can also be pets, right? You can be having a sanctuary here, you can be adopting, you know, more than one pet. You're going to be in that position to be able to do it, like especially we can see financially speaking here, right? And also that is nourishing you. And you know, the clock is on here, right? So a couple of things from this. I mentioned about where you're meant to live is your highest timeline, right? This can be timeline jumping, changing paradigms, vibration. But ultimately, it's like you will get back time as well. It's going to feel like you're getting back time, taking care of your health and well-being and the physical and the mental. And having your routine, having time to have a routine for you. Self-care, self-love. And also for some of you where there's this sense of, okay, will I have my own family, as in having children? And the sense of, okay, biologically speaking, my biological clock, is that going to happen? Well, I do see that, okay? I make my disclaimer, you know, I'm not saying this is a health prediction, a health reading, but I will say there's the energy of, right? There's the energy of children, and also with Page of Emotions, pregnancy. So I see that will be happening for some of you where that resonates, okay? You will have your own family in the place you're meant to live. Right, so now we will take a look. So certainly, I see here, when I mentioned before Pile 4, there's lots of different energies, like, that's the best way I can describe it, different lines, bringing you towards where you're meant to live. And when I say lines, I'm not talking about the astrocartography lines. I'm speaking energetically. Like, there's more than one reason that's kind of drawing you towards where you're meant to live. Okay, and now I've just completely lost that. Okay, well, if it comes back, it's meant to be. Rooster. Arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Okay. I don't know what that is yet. Oh, younger woman. Dealings or relationship with a younger woman. Oh. Okay. All right, this is specific. Some of you, you may be living in a place where you're there because you're with a partner, or you fell for someone, you know, but it ended up not being right, with the Justice card being there. It pulled you off your path. An 8 of Emotions. You may have recently broken up, you may have recently ended it, you're currently considering ending it. I feel like it's close in energy. It's possibly happening right now as you see this reading, because that's what's brought you to this reading. Yes. Pineapple, reconciliation. Ooh. Well, whoever this person is, they want to reconcile with you. Whether this is, you know, a younger woman, this can also be a younger man, though younger woman is showing up. You may be the younger woman, whichever way round it is, you know, a younger woman with this rooster. I'm seeing that yes, this rooster wants reconciliation, but with the Justice card being here in Eight of Emotions, and what I see with where you're meant to live, this is not the energy that will be where you're meant to live. So I think there's a question mark over reconciliation. Seems to be what's in the way. It's kind of creating a blockage here. So justice, that's why justice is there. Now, yeah, okay. Right, let me get another man. Dealings with a relationship with a man. Yeah, so we've got a couple here, you know, in separation, about to be in separation. Either or wants to get back together, they want reconciliation, but I don't see that being positive. So I'm just going to say that. Let's see if we can just get more details for you. We've clarified that. Let's see, what else do the tea leaf fortune cards have to say? Chain of events that will affect your life. Yes, because I see that this situation, right, younger man, younger woman, the rooster, it pulled you off your path. And it looks like the world map behind there on the card. So, you know, the universe, whoever you believe in, you're very spiritually connected. So I have to say, powerful, you may experience tower moments, you know, it's like, okay, a tower moment again, kind of energy, because you're that connected spiritually and things happen fast. So you know how if you don't have the awareness, you're not necessarily spiritually connected like that, it can take longer, right? Because time equals weight. And there's that reference to the clock. This is the clock speaking again. The less weight you have, the less time you have to wait for things to change. And when I mean weight, I'm talking energetic, spiritual weight, right? The things we don't let go of that no longer serve us, etc. Those of you that it resonates with, you will understand, right? And it's not to say that if you don't understand that means, oh, you know, what does that mean for me? You know, no, it's, I'll explain a bit more as well. I'm just saying that that message might not be for everyone also, okay? And it may be a matter of coming back to the reading to hear it again, right? And you'll think, okay, that's what it means for me. So having the baggage, right? Let me call it baggage, i.e. the weight. The more you have, the longer you'll have to wait for manifestations, for things to show up, for changes, because that keeps you stuck. That's the blockage, that's the obstacle. And when I see this chain and chain of events, right? You experience things happening at a quicker, possibly abruptly, like that tower moment energy, which I do have for some of you, much more stronger than others, because it's instant, it's quicker, because you see and you're aligned. So the universe, your spirit guide, your spirit team, it's like boom, they act fast, right? And that does cause a lot of disjointment for you. However, it's only because things don't serve you. You're being looked after. So whatever's going on, I'm not going to read into that deeper because we're focusing on where you're meant to live, right? But it came up, so I'll address it. There's justice connecting to that. That's all I'm going to say, because I feel like the energy is just, how can I say, that whoever this is, they've overdone everything. It's like overcooked. You're just ready now. Like, okay, look, you're not who I thought you were. I really don't need to go over this again. And you're focusing on justice and fairness. Right, well that took us in a little bit of a different path. So, yes, let me get back on path myself, back on track. And I want to clarify if you will actually do this, if this will occur for you. You will actually be in the place you're meant to live, okay? You will go and do that. So let's see, let's get clarification on that, confirmation before I close out your reading. Powerful. Yes, and look what you got. You got 4 of materials. 4 and 4. Home, yes you will. Your justice awaits you. It's already on its way. Okay, keep that out. You don't need that. you're being protected. When tower moments come, yes, it can be like chaotic change and everything is ending, but it's actually a new beginning and it's working in your favor. And because you're so spiritually connected, it's gonna happen fast. It won't take necessarily 7 years. It's in 7 weeks and boom, you know, truth is out there, truth is revealed, because you're that spiritually connected, okay? And you have less weight, energetically speaking. So that's what I have for you. That was a really unique reading, and I thought it was very, very beautiful. All readings have been amazing. As I say, always just take what resonates. Not everything will be for you. It's a collective reading. Even though I'm doing individual piles, it's still not a personal reading. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon for another one, and I hope you enjoyed that today. Bye for now.